This year, the Premier League season has been quite eventful, and it'll continue to be that way up until the last match day. You still got the title race between Manchester City and Liverpool, top 4 between Arsenal and Tottenham, and I guess Manchester United. But the one this video will be covering is the relegation battle. I was recently featured on an in-person podcast, my first ever actually. It was a ton of fun to be a part of, and I'm sure you guys will really enjoy the podcast episode as well. The link to the video will be in the annotations and in the description below. And hey, let's set a goal here. Get the Chewing Grounds podcast to 1,000 subscribers. So, we throw it all the way back to March 14th. And no, I'm not going to use match days because that would make things significantly more confusing.
The numbers! What are they saying?
You see, all the way back during January, and even before then, COVID decided to f*** everything up. But March 14th, the table is extremely close. Leeds and Brentford have decent gaps from the relegation zone, but Everton and Burnley still have games in hand. But can we really call Everton's matches games in hand? Everton and Watford are tied, with Everton just missing out on the relegation zone due to goal difference. Burnley are just 1 point behind 18th place Watford with 2 games in hand. And Norwich? I mean, come on. Also, remember Newcastle and their one singular win in 19 fixtures? If you only count the second half of the season after the end of December, they are third, so we're not going to talk about them. Everton played Newcastle, and Wenger did it again. Alex Iwobi saved Everton with a winner in the 9th minute of stoppage time. A day later, Wolves took an early 2-goal lead against Leeds. People, of course, started to mock Leeds' new American manager, Jesse Marsch, but then he said, "Soccer." Leeds scored 2 unanswered and stole all 3 points in the 90th minute. Brentford did not have as good of a time though, losing 2-1 in Leicester. So after March 20th, everyone stays where they're at, but Everton are now 3 points above the relegation zone. So, one international break and a World Cup draw later, Brentford were not fazed by Antonio Rudiger, scoring 4 in the second half at Stamford Bridge. Leeds were stopped from getting all 3 points thanks to James Wardinho-Prowse. Watford lost 2-0 to Liverpool. Burnley, having not played in 3 weeks, lost to City 2-0. Everton's Mason Holgate scored an equalizer at West Ham, but then you remember Everton have only earned 6 points away from home. After April 3rd, Brentford jumped up to 4th thanks to that huge win. Leeds remained 16th, but now have a 4-point gap from the relegation zone. The other bottom teams pretty much remained the same. Now we go into the period of April 4th to April 10th. Burnley versus Everton was by far the biggest fixture when it came to the relegation battle. Nathan Collins gave Burnley an early lead. However, then Everton had the advantage with 2 Richarlison penalties. But then you remember Everton's midfield is about as existent as my love life. 3 days later, Everton played another match against Manchester United. Pretty difficult fixture. But lads, it's United. Leeds continued their positive results under football's version of Sean McVay with a 3-0 win in Watford. The ever so exciting Brentford, after defeating Chelsea, took down West Ham, putting them now 12 points above the relegation zone. By the way, Ivan Toney is godlike. I don't know why there was doubts in the beginning of the season, he was still effective. Burnley, after their emphatic 3-2 win against Everton, then lost to Norwich 2-0. But it's alright though, there's still What the did you do? So after April 10th, Brentford are almost clear at this point. Everton are now 4 points above the relegation zone. Leeds, after some good results, are now 9 above. Watford dropped to 19th, while Burnley need to get things running if they want to stay up. April 16th to 17th. I think these were the matches that were postponed prior, I think. Brentford get another win against Watford, jumping them up to 11th, only 1 point below the glorious 40-point goal. At this point, we don't really need to talk about them anymore. They've survived. Caretaker Michael Jackson, no, not that one, leads Burnley to a 1-1 draw versus West Ham. So after April 17th, Burnley are now just 3 points behind Everton, and I would say however here, but just recall what I said earlier. Watford have not done anything besides lose since the beginning of this video, and their survival hopes are slowly dying away as they're now 6 points from 17th. Into the period of April 19th to 24th. Richarlison saves Everton at the death, earning a point against Leicester. Burnley moonwalk past Southampton, continuing their abnormally good form. Gabriel Jesus, out of fear of hearing himself being linked to Arsenal, scored 4 against Watford. No, it's not children making this Michael excited, it's points. Another win versus Wolves. And by the way, might I mention, this Wolves side have collapsed. They started out well with the first half of the season, and then I don't really know what happened in the second. Finally, to everyone's shock, Everton lose at Anfield. And after this set of matches, things have definitely shaken up. Everton are now in the relegation zone after some impressive results from Burnley. Watford keep falling, now 9 points from safety. And Leeds didn't play during this period, but still have a decent gap between them and danger. Now into the April 25th to May 1st period. Leeds get a 0-0 draw in Palace, which is not an easy place to play anymore. And alas, someone finally puts Norwich out of their misery. Thank you, Aston Villa. Burnley, though, get their third straight victory in dramatic fashion with a Josh Brownhill winner in the 86th minute. Leeds a few days later, after their 0-0 draw against Palace, get thrashed by City 4-0. And unfortunately for them, Charity FC continues its generosity, giving Everton its annual 3 points at Goodison Park. So we are finally back in the present day. And here is where we stand. Norwich are relegated, so no need to talk about them. Watford have a more than 99% chance of relegating, so we really don't need to talk about them either. Simply put, if they don't win their next match, they're gone. But remember when Everton were 5th after 6 matches? They're now just 2 points from safety, but they do have a game in hand. Everton have scored a whopping 7 goals in their last 9. That is quite literally Norwich and Watford levels of bad. Their defense isn't any better. They're 7th worst out of these last 9 matches. Everton's remaining 5 matches are Leicester and Watford away, which you can pretty much call a win for both teams. Well, okay, it is Watford, I guess. But remember who we're talking about here. This is Everton away. They have the worst away record in the entire Premier League this season. After those matches, they have 2 huge matches at Goodison Park where they have to get maximum points against Brentford and Palace. And then finally, they end it all off with Arsenal at the Emirates. But currently, there is a 34% chance of Everton relegating, according to 538. 17th place Leeds are unfortunate to be in this spot. Since the sacking of Bielsa, they've earned 11 points in 8 games, which is the 12th most since that period. And before Bielsa's sacking, Leeds conceded 60 times. They've definitely tightened up in the back ever since. People will talk about Everton's strength of schedule, but I honestly think Leeds is significantly worse. Their remaining 4 are Arsenal away, Chelsea and Brighton at home, and then finally Brentford away, which puts them at a 45% chance of relegating. 16th place Burnley back in March had a 44% chance of relegating. Now it's slimmed down to just 20. The dark arts are again working in Burnley's favor. This team simply just cannot relegate. It's just against all laws. Football shithousery must live on for eternity, apparently. They are having incredible form right now. Burnley have won 3 consecutive matches. That has not happened since April 2019. And the remaining fixtures are probably the most ideal out of the fighting 3. Aston Villa at home, Tottenham away, which I really hope they get a result there, Aston Villa again, and then finally Newcastle at home. Having seen the results that Burnley have gotten, I wouldn't be shocked if they continued this winning streak at this point. As I've said, the dark arts are on their side. Nothing can stop them right now. But who do you think will stay up? Personally, no hate to Everton, I just think it would be really funny if they had championship fonts. By the way, the next video essay will come out on May 14th, so keep that in mind. But of course, it's time to thank all the patrons, including Andre Root, Janos Balas, Millie Away 009, Alex Rod, Antonio, Daniel Ortiz, Darkwolf476, Edgar AS, Ethan Scaraccio, Francisco Hernandez, Jason TD, Joseph Bonfante, Nguyen Tin Minh Tang, The Motor Drive, Victor, Ariel Flor, Declan Malloy, Emmett Shea, Lewis, MX Weeb, Piano, Tomicus, Alberto Azamar, Andres Was Never Here, Big Bird, Billy Jack Jory, Cash Getty, Chris Damasceno, Dios, Exo, FIFA America, It's Nilfo, James Huggett, Jose Moreta, Ken Ramirez, Mark Morcos, Mohamed Al-Bakhale, Nicholas Baptista, Nickel Chips, President Pulisic, Quinn J. Rose, Tyler Avon, and Unbroken Persona. If you'd like to join the Patreon, there'll be a link down below and up in the annotations. You can follow my Twitter if you'd like, follow my Instagram if you want, follow my TikTok, trying to get to 8,000 there, and of course, you can follow my inactive Twitch. But until then, I'll see you guys.